Namaste and welcome to the Baha'I House of Worship. The Baha'i faith is an independent world religion whose main aim is to unite all the people of the world in one universal cause and one common faith.
With the dawning of every new day, millions of people savor the aroma of this serenely spiritual atmosphere.
This is my 5th time coming to the temple.
My first glimpse of it was from the air.
We saw the lotus in full bloom, shining there. It was so beautiful.
Visible as a beautiful place on the skyline of Delhi.
When I just came into the temple grounds, my initial expression was like, wow.
I was born around the same time as the temple was dedicated for all of humanity.
It is dedicated to oneness of God, oneness of religion, and oneness of mankind.
People from all religious backgrounds, all races, all language groups, they're all welcome here.
Symbolism has great significance in India. Symbols speak in a unique way to the hearts of the people. In 1976, during the design period of this house of worship, 28-year-old architect Fariborz Saba traveled to India in search for inspiration for such a monumental project.
Lotus, which comes out from dirty, murky waters and is pure and fresh and white and glistening.
The lotus, perhaps the most ancient of symbols, remains unsurpassed in Indian iconography. The symbol is sacred, representative of divinity, and regarded as a manifestation of the purity of God. This deep respect for the lotus in Indian hearts convinced and challenged the architect to translate this artistic form into an appealing edifice.
I still remember the time I had finished school and come here to Delhi, very close to the House of Worship, to do my college. And it was the time that the excavation of the House of Worship had started. And then I saw the House of Worship taking shape and being built, and the excitement and the fervor that we felt.
The construction team, comprising of 800 engineers, technicians, workers and artisans who worked diligently to give realization to one of the most complex edifices in the world.
That anticipation, that the way it would look and the kind of uplifting feeling that it had when I visited it and when I saw the designs, it really lived up to my expectations.
So what was this mysterious, beautiful building that was symmetrical and so philosophical?
The blossoming of this white chaste lotus on New Delhi's skyline took almost 10 years. In the December of 1986, the House of Worship was opened to the public and dedicated to all humanity. Standing majestically on its red sandstone pedestal, this benevolent lotus created a sense of grandeur and awe within all who looked upon it, filling their hearts with a warm glow of fulfillment.
We have often seen people coming here with great expectation because it was so magnificent from outside, and then they find that there are only benches and no idol or no picture or no symbol.
We as Baha'is believe that God is infinite. He cannot be recognized, He cannot be understood, He cannot be given a shape, form, we cannot attribute a certain place to Him of residence. So as far as Baha'is are concerned, we cannot understand the infinite because the human mind is finite.
All the Baha'i houses of worship are open to humanity. This one is the 7th in the world which is doing work towards the unity of mankind.
In the 25 years of its existence, millions of people have come to marvel the beauty of the structure or to silently meditate in its soothing prayer hall. Whatever be their intent, the Baha'I House of Worship has attracted and awakened in all its visitors the realization of the peace they can attain within themselves.
Very peaceful and calm.
I felt very close to God.
It is a place where people are encouraged to come and they meditate. It's a place for them to think.
It gives you a feeling of prayer, meditation, concentration.
Worshipping is a message to Almighty God for peace always.
It's nice to find calm in a city of chaos.
My colleagues and I, we sometimes go up together to pray, have office prayers, pray for the people we are serving. And I think it's such a wonderful way to, take a break and spiritually recharge oneself.
In last 25 years, we are known to be a place of worship where people of all castes, creed and religion can come and pray according to their own belief.
You embrace all the faiths while you practice your faith.
The moment you walk into that big dome and you sit down and if you sing, you listen to the echoes of your own voice, you listen to the echoes of a choir, or if you just sit there quietly and meditate on the tinkling water, that itself is an expression of the universe. That itself gives you the feeling that you are in the presence of something which is much bigger than you.
ای پروردگار به آنچه سزاوار است موفق کن ای آمرزگار به آنچه لایق است مؤید فرما
سرفبهوتستم آتمانم سرفبهوتانی جاتمنی बुद्धं शरणं गच्छामि स्वयं को मेरी वाणी के महासिंध में निमग्न कर
The daily prayer service includes selections from the holy books of all religions.
We do not want unity with uniformity, but it should be unity with diversity.
People who can sit together in one place and see each other as members of one large human family.
Praise of the Almighty is raised in voices of people from all castes, colors and cultures, thereby promoting tolerance and celebrating diversity.
This is a dawning place of the remembrance of God.
The Baha'i faith is the youngest of the world's independent religions. Its founder, Baha'u'llah, is regarded by Baha'is as the most recent in the line of messengers of God.
Baha'u'llah was the manifestation of God for this age. He was born in 1817, he passed away in 1892, during which time he suffered 40 years of imprisonment and exile for having brought a message which was to unite the whole world.
Religion has to be renewed again and again in order for the followers to be able to practice it and to work towards the realization of the will and purpose of God for humanity.
Baha'is in India basically are beginning to understand that they have to create a new civilization which is based on love, harmony and justice.
The Baha'i community, whether small or large, is a very vibrant community because all members of the Baha'i community, whether children, whether teenagers, whether adults, are all involved in one way or the other in the community programs.
Children are the most precious resource a community has. Baha'i children classes, through spiritual, social and intellectual training, aim to build a strong moral framework that will assist children to achieve excellence in material, intellectual and spiritual aspects of life.
So that as they grow, they are able to exercise right moral choices.
The Junior Youth Spiritual Empowerment Programs cultivate in young people a desire to contribute to construction of a better world.
The junior youth are young people between the ages of 12 and 15 who are experiencing many changes. They're no longer children. They're also not, you can't say, fully adults. Older youth are raised up and trained who can conduct groups, small groups in their own neighborhood for these younger junior youth to develop their capacities and their talents, their power of expression and their ability to analyze the constructive and destructive forces in society which are influencing them and their peers, and thereby to become agents of change in their own communities.
Through a process of worship, study and service, individuals and communities develop the knowledge, spiritual insights and skills to enable them to contribute to the betterment of society.
When you have more and more people who are empowered to act and to become change agents, you're truly able to change society.
This ethereal lotus has become a symbol of continuous human endeavor to bring divergent thoughts into harmony, appealing all human beings to become one.
The temple for me signifies something that I believe is very important. It signifies a lack of prejudice.
We should not nurture prejudices. That's all about coming together, about tolerance, about bonding, about a heart-to-heart linkage.
A bird has two wings. If either one of those wings is broken or impaired or unequal in strength to the other, it is the bird itself that cannot fly.
If you realize that, then each one of us are so much a part of the other that there can be no warfare, there can be no strife, there can be no contention, there can be no doubts, no aggression against each other. I mean, that really is the foundation of peace.
The Baha'I House of Worship in India, dedicated to values of unity and equality, is a monument in marble that inspires an aura of silence, serving as a central gathering place for communication between man and his creator, God.
There has always been this promise of the day of the unity of mankind.
So every individual who visits the house of worship can behave like a lotus. You live in society and be above the evils of society.
Not only is this power for the individual, it has the potential to change the world, one heart at a time.
We see each and every individual, each and every member of the human race as a protagonist for change.
Basically, we are one.
I think there is much more to this faith than what the building conveys. And that speaks to me now. The first visit was one of being in awe of it. But every time I came, it was like peeling off a layer of an onion, and you go deeper into the philosophy of the faith. And I realize that it is probably the faith of our times.
ये सब ज़मीन है मेरी, ये आसमान है मेरा, मकीन हर मकान हूँ मैं, हर एक मकान है मेरा। मैं क्यों कहूँ कि बस मेरा वतन ये मुल्क हिंद है, कि हूँ मैं सब जहान का, सभी जहान है मेरा।